What's up guys, Kevin Cage back with another XRP update. This video is an absolute must-see, so props to all who can stick around for this one. Of course, we're going to discuss the recent XRP news with the Central Bank of France that just came out. And funny enough, remember that we did in fact find the official document back in March 2020 of the Central Bank of France discussing interoperability and even issuing central bank digital currencies on the Ethereum blockchain as well as the XRP ledger. It's so funny to see how all of this plays out. Of course, zero doubt in this ecosystem and the future of digital assets. And also, I know I primarily talk about XRP on this channel because it's one of my largest holdings, but I want to talk about two other DeFi assets today that I'm currently holding and accumulating, and I do personally expect a lot of upside in the future. So not financial advice, guys. Keep in mind, I can be wrong. Nobody knows everything, but I'd encourage you to at least go look into these assets and decide for yourselves. Not financial advice once again, and let's get into it. We're going to freestyle this, and I hope you enjoy. So let's cut to the chase. The two assets that I'm going to be talking about today are Ramp DeFi. I am very impressed with this asset, along with Alliance Block. So yes, relatively late to the game for some of these. I know some of you guys that watch this channel that are active in the DeFi space have tackled these early on, but I like that they have a lot more liquidity in this ecosystem. There's still plenty of other exchanges that have yet to list them, and we're going to talk about them, and then we're going to talk about some XRP news. So if you're not interested in other assets, feel free to fast forward. We're going to get back into all the XRP content, but I just cannot ignore these opportunities because if even just current holdings right now keep climbing, and I still think that we can get a good, 3-4x out of Ramp at the very least, I potentially will be able to, get more XRP than I've ever dreamt of, add to all long-term holdings, and even continue to realize profits in US dollar. Because you just never know when the bull run's going to end. Of course, this is very cyclical. I'm betting that we do get an alt season in the months ahead, but I have to hedge my bet, and I have to make sure that I get a win out of either scenario, just like Zig Ziglar says, prepare for the worst and capitalize on what's to come. All in all, though, I am bullish on these assets, okay? So we'll talk about the use case, we'll go over the investors, and I think it's really, really interesting nonetheless, all right? So really quick, Ramp DeFi, of course, I just want to go over the investors. We can recognize Arrington, XRP Capital, of course, Ruby Capital. You can see and recognize a few of these names, but look at the advisors and team. JP Morgan, Binance, IOST, the founder was actually working at IOST for a few years. BlackRock, one of the world's largest custodians in the world. I don't even need to go over these guys. Deloitte, one of the big four accounting firms. BNP Paribas, we've talked about their connections even with the, not the country, the business Ripple, or the organization Ripple, and Microsoft. So paying very close attention to this. And Ramp is essentially just about maximizing capital efficiency on staked digital assets. So what's the point if you're staking your digital asset and you can't really use it as working capital and make the most of it? And ideally, this is what's very important. We want capital efficiency, of course, and that's what digital assets helps, but it also helps unlock liquidity, unlocking value. And you know what this sounds like? It sounds like Flare Networks, another asset with a Spark token that I'm excited for to earn and yield passive income. So yes, I do stake Ramp and a few other digital assets, and ideally, that's my plan, is to really trade my short-term bag, accumulate my long-term holdings. You can loan and lend out crypto to get some passive income. You can stake digital assets to get passive income. I want probably over 20 different streams of income that are automated. And in the future, maybe I can even leverage smart contracts to do that. So I'm really excited. I do not comprehend how people are ignoring this. And people that will say crypto's going to zero or Ramp will go to zero. Don't listen to them unless they have an actual fundamental understanding of what yield farming is, of what liquidity mining is. Don't listen to them until they do their research and actually understand what is at play here, because this is potentially massive. Now, there's not going to be one solution, but this is interoperability between the Ethereum blockchain leveraging other digital assets. Of course, we have even, Binance Smart Chain and integrations, potential listings on Binance. Very, very powerful stuff. And I just cannot ignore this, and I have to talk about it at least once or twice on YouTube, just so people are aware. If they're, brand new, or if you just hold XRP, that's fine. I still believe in XRP. But if XRP is even under $1 in the next few weeks, or if it is still under $1 in the next 1 or 2 months, I'm potentially going to grow my bag substantially. And that's just something I wanted to share with you guys. All right. So Ramp DeFi, essentially unlocking liquidity, and one of the only competitors that I know of that's a little more well established but still has plenty of upside, and I do in fact hold it as well, is Kava. So notice market cap 250 million. Ramp just got up to 50 mil, which is awesome, but keep in mind that's another 5x multiplier for a little upside, closer to maybe just a little under $1.30. So could we get there? I believe so. and I'll be flipping profits accordingly. But if ramp keeps up, I may actually just hold this, because I did a lot of research. I've been watching a lot of the videos, or the limited videos that the founder discusses, and I like what I see. And I don't want to say everything, but ideally they're incentivized for the network to grow. So that's something I encourage. There's a lot of Medium articles you can look at, such as the R-Burn upgrade, providing ramp value support with a unique rebasing, buyback, and burn mechanism. So what they do is they're actually on exchanges like, of course, not Uniswap, 1inch, excuse me, and they can set limit orders and create a new higher high. So with ramp, of course, it's not available on, TradingView. I have XRP and VeChain right here. You'd have to go to charts.cointrader.pro, type in ramp USD. And we can see right here on the daily, ideally, every once in a while, they can kind of create a new value, or this is kind of the new level of support. So it almost seems like that, maybe 18 cents to 20 cent region is that new value of support before we keep climbing. And that's just my personal bias. Nothing is guaranteed, guys, but I just want to share with you an asset that I'm looking at and attacking personally. All right. So we'll see what happens in the future. I believe that this asset can go $1 plus on the conservative side. On the higher end, maybe even surpass $2. But I'm gonna, take profits just like I dollar cost average and buy into assets over time, and maybe go at different prices. I try to stagger my sells as well. So there's nothing wrong with that. You have to find out what works for you in your own personal situation, understand the tax implications, and everything that goes in between. So all in all, we saw a nice pump right here on the daily this morning, going from, even like 23 cents, all good and great. And this is just something that I am absolutely watching. So very interesting partnerships. It's doing things very differently. You can read through their light paper as well. And I'm just interested in their team and advisors. And you can look at the other blockchains that they're actually working with. That has my attention, and I think it will have yours as well. IOST, no surprise, the founder was there. Tomo Chain, I know that King Solomon knows a lot about this group. Tezos, Injective, I know there's some fans. The Graph as well. I wish I got in on this asset early. Oh well, missed another one. Elrond, Solana, of course, which has just been skyrocketing, even just on Binance. Icon, Stone DeFi, Knowles, Moonstake, Metanix, and I think, Crust, and there's only like one or two. Alliance Block. So Alliance Block is another one I'm really looking at and interested in. You guys can read the light paper. I'm gonna just go through nice and slow. If it's your first time learning about DeFi, man, it's exciting. It sounds like a different language, but it's just all about unlocking liquid capital from your staked digital assets. And there's plenty of opportunity with this asset. Tokenomics. Of course, you want the supply and demand for your token to show that it could appreciate if there's ample demand, correct? Well, you can look at the token utility and how the value can actually appreciate, and I like what I see. There's some other microcaps that I'm in, of course. This is one on Patreon that I actively discuss, and we talk about the charts and trading, and I really like this one. So another asset that we were in the DeFi space has done a 3x plus since just last month, about 5 weeks ago, and I took some of those profits. I still hold some. Of course, as soon as I took profits, it started pumping even more, and I put some into ramp, and I have some more in my US dollar position. So still growing my US dollar bag, because you just can't guarantee it. And I've been burned so many times before, so I'm not going to pretend that everything goes up forever. But yes, I'm excited for this. And so this is just something I consider. So you can look at this, you use as collateral. There's, burns, there's buybacks. I can't ignore this stuff, guys. So I just wanted to share this. You can look into this yourself. It's only 15 pages. And yeah, I know a lot of big YouTubers, even some Bitcoin maxis have already discussed this. And I know I'm late to the game relatively discussing it, but I still feel that there is potentially some ample upside in the future. All right, so you guys can read this. This is just the Medium article, just talking about rebasing, the buyback, the burn mechanisms, if you want to get a better understanding. All in all, I like when founders' incentives, they're aligned with mine as an investor for my percentage return, okay? So we're going to touch on Alliance Block a bit. Actually, let's really go back to ramp really quick. And I just want to show you guys on the market. You could use Gate.io, Uniswap, 1inch, of course, but gas fees can get pretty crazy. All in all, it's not on a lot of exchanges. The liquidity is not quite there yet. So keep that in mind if you're doing larger buys. I personally use an OTC broker. You could use Caleb and Brown, which is what I actively use. Links are in the video description. That's as a US investor, so I can buy XRP in bulk. I could even set direct swaps. So if I have, let's say I have like 50 grand in ramp, and ramp goes to, my bag say goes up to like a $200,000 value, I could set a limit order with Caleb and Brown and say, yep, when my ramp bag reaches 200K USD, I want it to go into XRP, provided that I get this many XRP. So I can do a lot of limit orders, if and then statements, and really hedge my bet and just automate it. And as a US investor that can't really do huge buys on the current centralized exchanges due to the SEC allegation, I value that massively. So just wanted to point that out. Of course, Gate.io is one. Just be careful on some of these exchanges. I don't really trust them. And if you do use, Uniswap, make sure that you're utilizing the actual contract address. Make sure you have a lot of, Ethereum ready to pay for some of those gas fees. But this is a sleeper. So when it gets listed on Binance, don't be surprised. Pay attention to the other DeFi assets when they get that Binance listing. There's been others that I've kind of shared or liked on Twitter. If you guys follow my page, you can see when they announce staking for Binance, these assets pump. So yes, I believe that. Of course, the chart that I see shows a increase in the future. Maybe not tomorrow because it's already pumped substantially, but in the weeks or months ahead, I see some tremendous upside, especially with more integrations with the Binance Smart Chain. And just something to keep up with. So wanted to point that out. And Kava, I still think has a lot of upside in the future. I'm going to be holding that as one of my long-term holds as well. It's doing something very differently with the Cosmos platform of Atom, with Link, of course with XRP connections that we've discussed many, many times. All right. All in all, I am quite impressed. If you guys want to read more about this. All right, now let's talk about some alliance blocks. So it's down a little bit today. Conservatively, I think that this little sucker could, probably go to $1.20, maybe even $2 as well. So I'm going to be watching this. Its market cap is a little bigger, but its partnerships are substantial. I know King Solomon's been a long-term advocate of this guy, like early on. I wish I got in early, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. Story of my life. And I think it's just consolidating. I think that we can get an alt season, an alt run, all in all. This is available on TradingView if you guys want to look at it. But let's just kind of go through this really quick. So Alliance Block, high level, is building the world's first globally compliant decentralized capital market. This is the world of DeFi, guys. And yes, there's that DeFi bubble, but now in terms of, cross-chain liquidity and all of this yield farming and liquidity mining, there's a lot of opportunity in this space. Once again, if someone doesn't understand what that is, don't listen to them. Make sure you go do your due diligence and decide accordingly. So Alliance Block is something that I'm interested in. The partners speak for themselves. Quant. I've been a long-term holder of this. You guys know that I was buying this back in the day in like late 2018. I did videos on it as well. I know it's the talk of the town now that it's well over $30 or $40. Holo, Chainlink, London Stock Exchange. I'm not sure if this is this pronounced Orion? Kind of like Orion's belt, or is this Orion? I don't know, but I've seen this around. I'm not in it, but I thought it was like another gem. I know King Solomon talks about that guy. Yeah, I like the partners. Plasma, DIA. Is that Dia the crypto? And then MakerDAO. Let's see. I don't know if this is Dia the crypto, like the for oracles and stuff competing with like Band and Chainlink. Yeah, it might be. Awesome, cool. I didn't even know that, so I just learned something new. I'll go check that out actually later and confirm that. Liquidity mining. There's a lot of interesting things, but all in all, London Stock Exchange is pretty interesting. So something I'm looking at. So we'll see what happens in the weeks ahead, guys. But all in all, Alliance Block, 59.60 cents. I think it can get over $1 plus. And just keep in mind, some of those partners are substantial, and you can go look at the tokenomics. I really like the tokenomics for Ramp DeFi, and you can launch the app, you can stake, you can do liquidity mining, whatever you feel. Notice there's a problem right now, an inefficient $300 billion market. So staking by itself is not capital optimal, I can't even talk, as it gives bond-like returns, and that's not what we're here for in crypto. If you want to get 5%, or 3% or 8%, you can go somewhere else. So we're looking for some better, capital returns all in all, for capital efficiency, to make our money work for us. So you can collateralize your staked digital assets into liquid capital and then go work more efficiently. So it was pretty, complicated at first when I first got into like all the DeFi stuff, but when you just take it slow, it makes a lot of sense. It is actually pretty exciting. So I know a lot of you guys have been in this game since, even when Uniswap came to be a while back, but I just wanted to point this out. Something to look into, all right? Now, let's talk about the exciting stuff. So, first things first, shared by Bank XRP, Japanese firms are afraid and will leave Hong Kong due to the China crackdown. SBI boss Yoshitaka Kitao says. Interesting, and he even goes on to comment and says that without freedom, there is no financial business. Sounds like they're having their battles with this country, so we'll see what happens in the future. And all in all, I'm still all eyes on the, I almost said XRP allegations, the SEC allegations regarding XRP. All right, I was already reading through that. You guys get the gist of the headlines. Right here, Bank XRP just sharing this. I know many people have seen this. I did give XRP Compass a follow. So regardless of what happened on 2014, remember, Gary Gensler, 2014, we have the video clip right here, saying that, even Ethereum had uncompliant sales like a security back in the day. You can listen to this clip yourselves. And he said the same thing with XRP. And what happened? Ethereum as well. I wish it well. Just to be clear, guys, I hold what I consider to be a substantial amount of individual Ethereum tokens, and I can't ignore it. No way. I know it's proof of work, and I hope the proof of stake goes well, but there's thousands of projects on it. I'm not going to ignore that. And it's already given rise to new innovations such as Algorand, ADA, and plenty of other competitors, Polkadot, you name it. So I have to look at that, but anybody that an ETH maxi, BTC maxi that completely doubts XRP is a fool, in my opinion. I'm going to keep stacking it, and they're going to congratulate us like we're lucky in the future. Guarantee it. Like when settlement happens, or if there's something that favorable happens, or XRP pumps to $1, $2 plus, they're going to act like, wow, good for you guys. But those that did their research understand how this game is played all along.
Consensus. Lumen took about 10% or 9.5% of the offering. They put 9.5% in a foundation called the Ethereum Foundation, and the other 80% was sold to the public for $18 million. We'll talk later in the semester as to whether that was really a securities offering. I publicly said I think so, but that was in 2014, and in 2018, the Securities and Exchange Commission has said, regardless of what it might have been in 14, it's now sufficiently decentralized that we'll consider it not a security. But in essence, they raised $18 million, and we're off to the races.
Boom. And I love Ethereum, and I wish it well, but this is the same thing. Remember the clip that I've shown a few times of Gary Gensler calling XRP a non-compliant security? And this was years ago. You can go watch his actual teachings at MIT on YouTube. You can find these hour-long lectures if you guys want. All in all, I played these things on 2x speed all day when I'm, walking, running, driving, and just literally digesting information all day long. All right, so right here, this is all good and great. I know a lot of people covered it, but I have to. So Pilot using XRP to settle corporate debts and credits in Japan hits a new milestone. So I know we covered this a while back, but now we're hitting a new milestone. I like this picture as well. So Japanese financial giant SBI Holdings and crypto startup FX Coin Limited are announcing a new achievement in their XRP pilot program. I love this. So in its digital payments experiment, FX Coin is working with the Japanese general trading firm Sumitomo Corporation to settle debts and credits to other Sumitomo Group companies using XRP. Liquidity, 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 demand, interest on in a variety of countries, guys. This is what I'm looking at, and remember that we have this gentleman spearheading a lot of things for XRP throughout Japan, and then you have to consider the other corridors that we know are in development. So just a few of the things that I consider. Right here, this program has previously had success utilizing Ripple's native token to conduct future transactions in Japan. However, late in February, FX Coin revealed that it also had success sending XRP overseas to Singapore. And we know that the Monetary Authority of Singapore, of course. I know you guys like Telcoin, that has some regulatory clarity there. We know Zilliqa is deeply ingrained in the financial system. Well, guess what? So is XRP for the remittance side and at least the cross-border transaction side in the future. So very cool to see this. We have this new milestone that has been hit, and I'm going to read this quote and then we'll keep moving. So we can see FX Coin notes that the achievement may enable businesses to reduce transaction costs by utilizing crypto assets for overseas payments. Yeah, obviously. The ability to perform future transactions using crypto assets is in commercial transactions with overseas business companies will help reduce payment costs, improve payment speeds, of course, and diversify payment methods in the activities of business companies that will expand globally in the future. Now remember, the RTP, the real-time payments head of ACI Worldwide, who's a RippleNet partner, they send $14 trillion per day. Swift sends roughly $5 trillion, so they eclipse what Swift does, and they already do 9% of Swift's traffic. What did he say? He said in the future, Ripple's probably going to be, or could be, one of the few settlement options over the Swift network. That's crazy to me. Maybe years ago, but each year we're realizing that it's more and more likely to happen in the future. All right, so these are head honchos. It's not just some idiot like me talking about this. These are people that are in the know. And of course, that video, you guys can type it in, like head of RTP ACI Worldwide, Kevin Cage on YouTube, and watch that 30-minute interview. They discuss this and they talk about, of course, Sama, the Saudi Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, excuse me, the central bank of the UAE, all in all, discussing this. And what did I show in the previous video, or 1 or 2 videos ago? Sama literally got Ripple together, got a group of banks together and said, yeah, we don't need a sandbox. We can just use you guys. You're fully compliant. We like it. Go ahead. And you guys can go see those video clips for yourselves. There's several of them. So just a few of the things that I consider. And let me see if there's anything else. I know Damor Sahami sent me a bunch of information to read about the Bank of Thailand and CBDCs. Of course, we know connections to the company Ripple and XRP. Got to read more about Deutsche and T2S, the Target 2 securities. That's big money. And of course, we talked about this with Task Gateway yesterday. I did tweet a few threads with Task Gateway at the heart and center of this. And of course, we do know that they are partnered with Ripple. Now, are they having plans to use XRP and Ripple's protocol in the future? Maybe, maybe not, but we're seeing that these organizations are future-proofing real-time payment systems across the board. Finastra as well. RippleNet partner, they already have, of the top 50 banks in the world, they have the top 48. They have 9,000 plus partners. So they're everywhere. They're focusing on real-time payments. We can even see now retail as well as an initiative. So I'm going to go through a lot of this as well. Just wanted to show you, I read this stuff daily. This is the stuff that's in my mind when I'm ranting to you guys. And I'm excited for the future. I'm going to keep watching what Ramp does as well. You guys can do, pivots if you want to be lazy and plot them. I still think we can climb. There's a lot of confluences, even up to the 32 cent mark. You can overlay some fibs. I just kind of imported some other from TradingView, but I think we keep moving. Keep in mind, these are liquid assets. It doesn't take much volume to really pump them. And when they have integrations and more integrations with Binance Smart Chain, and even the whole host of other platforms that they're working with, this could be substantially a lot of institutional interest. And I just would like to remind you, Crossed Alliance block. Just want to remind you, you can go look at their roadmap, which I still like, and I think is going to be sound. Their team and advisors and their investors. So I'm investing into the people. I like that their view is aligned with my own. And I encourage you guys to, at the very least, look at Ramp DeFi, look at Alliance block, do some research, decide, for yourselves. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm not liable for anything. This is not financial advice. I just want to cover myself. It is one man's opinion in this space, as I'm excited for the future of this digital asset space. We can see this RSI, the Relative Strength Index, is climbing on the daily. Of course, it is on the 4-hour on a smaller time frame. You can see that it already pierced. But if it did that on the daily, it's going to keep going. So we'll see what happens in the weeks ahead, nonetheless. Even the highest impulse, the 4.236, shows a $1 valuation for Ramp. So we'll see what happens. We're going to catch back up on this asset in probably, we'll give it 8 weeks and see where we're at. And that's just the truth. People aren't profitable, or the people that aren't profitable in this space just aren't patient. And how I treat investing, I buy low, or I try to buy low as possible, and I outweight everybody else, and then I sell much higher. Very simple principles, easier said than done. Of course, I struggle with it too, but just wanted to share. So all in all, guys, I hope you enjoyed. And remember, any asset that you cannot find on TradingView, because I was just sizing up VeChain and XRP playing with this, trying to see are we going to drop down to the 34 cents? Are we finally going to blast up to $1 plus? It's long overdue, and it is almost decision time. It's just some of the things I consider. If it's not on tradingview.com, which is free to use and links are in the video description, you can use charts.cointrader.pro. In the top left, type in your asset. So same thing goes for any asset like, Gala, which is one of my long-term holds. I think this guy has, upside as well, but we have to be aware of these NFT bubbles and, liquidity mining bubbles. So I don't want to get arrogant. I don't want to say it's going to happen, but yes, you can hear it in my voice. I'm excited for the future for these assets. So all in all, we're going to see what happens. It is just another day in the life for XRP, and I am waiting for this guy to make a decision. Hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one.